talking about procrastination. What is procrastination? Why do people procrastinate? And what they can do to reduce or eliminate procrastination from their lives. So so I'll be following this outline. I'll be defining the word procrastination so that at least we'll have an idea of what we are talking about. And then the reasons why people procrastinate, ways they procrastinate, and how they can overcome. Then we take questions, and then we can leave our reviews when we are done. So I will encourage us to leave our reviews in the chat section when we are done. So you can leave the reviews in chat section, or probably leave them for me on my Facebook wall or Instagram wall. I will also share my handles here so that you can leave reviews for me there. So we'll be following this outline: definition, reasons for procrastinating, ways people procrastinate, and then how to procrastinate. That is actually the crux of this. The other ones will just go through them, or just fly through them, so that we can have enough time to practically talk about overcoming procrastination. Because that is exactly the reason why I thought about this. I felt that it should not be theory, it should not be another aspire to aspire meeting. So it should be something practical, something that we can deal with, something that we can relate with, so that we will have something that we can go home with and practically utilize to see results, tangible results concerning our goals, objectives, and things that we are projecting, even for the remaining days of the year and the years ahead. So according to Benjamin Franklin, he said, "Tell me and I'll forget, teach me and I may remember, but involve me and I will learn." So that's why I want us to be as this discussion to be as involving as it can be. So you can try as much as possible to leave a message in the chat. And if you want to talk, I think I can give you that liberty to just unmute yourself and say whatever you want to say, so that we don't, if you cannot type, you can just unmute, say it, and then mute back, so that we won't have any interference from you. So like I said, Benjamin Franklin said, "Tell me and I forget, teach me and I may remember, involve me and I'll learn." So I'd like to involve everyone in this discussion. It's more or less like a class, but also in a class, a discussion makes it easier for people to learn, because it's a cross-pollination of ideas. People come and say what's on their mind, and then we come and tell them how this method has helped us, how that one has not helped. So that way we can learn one or two things and go home with something to practice. So I'll be encouraging us all to get involved and learn something as we go on. If you have anything to say, you can just leave a message in the chat. And if you don't want to type, you can just quickly unmute yourself and just say something, then we can go on. Yes. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, procrastination can be defined as a state or habit or an instance of being slow or late about doing something that should be done. That's a state or habit of being slow or late about doing something that should be done. That's the verb, the root word, which is procrastinate, which is a noun, means to put off intentionally and habitually. When someone puts off things he ought to do intentionally and habitually, maybe you need to clean a room and then you put it off. Maybe you need to write a book and then you put it off. Maybe you need to do something, one thing or the other, no matter how simple it is, no matter how simple or how complex you think it is. Once you start putting it off, that is procrastination. And people, statistics has it, I read somewhere that 1 out of every 5 people in the world is a chronic procrastinator. And that means that that person continuously puts off intentionally and habitually what should be done. And that is not a good trait for anyone who wants to achieve something in life, for anyone who wants to be great in life. We cannot put off intentionally or habitually things that will make us great people, things that will make us achieve our goals, our objectives, our desires. We cannot put them off. So that is the definition of procrastination. Quickly there, let me move on to the next slide. Yes, I know most of us here are not procrastinators, but at least we have heard or known somebody who procrastinates and some of the reasons why they procrastinate. Can anyone tell me the reasons why people procrastinate? Maybe you heard somewhere, or maybe you've known someone that procrastinates, and you at least have an idea of what it is that makes them procrastinate. Can you just share with me briefly in the chat why people just put off what they need to do till another time? I'm not getting anything from us. Let me check. Sorry. Maybe we can quickly unmute and say something, because I'm not seeing our chat. Okay, there is it. Okay. Interest, yes, Mr. Nicola said interest. Thank you very much. Okay, one may feel that time is available. Yes, that one is also very, very important. Interest means people just feel that they don't have interest in this thing. For example, you take up a job that you're not interested in, and then you feel like, why should I be carrying out all these tasks that you have written down for me, or all this job description? Why should I do it when I don't even like the job in the first place? I'll put it off till tomorrow. Maybe I suppose write a report as part of your job description. I feel like I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. I'll do it, and then you keep putting it up until the company or the organization comes to ask for it, and then you are like, rushing to meet up with the deadline. So yes, the issue of time is, yes, you may feel that time is available, and you may think that you still have more time. Yes, that's true. Any other one? Yeah, Mr. Solomon Dan, do you have anyone that you have in mind why people procrastinate? Yes. Thank you very much, Dr. Jude. He says, I feel being not so organized, like one fails to plan one's day or week or month. Yes, one's failure to plan. He says, anyone who fails to plan is planning to fail. So that is also one important thing that one needs to take into consideration when talking about procrastination. People feel there's time, so there's no need to do a particular task. So they have enough time to do it, or they feel that they just wake up and just carry on with the day as it comes. Anywhere, like they say in Pidgin, anywhere belle face. So you just go and just move along the path that life throws at you. You just keep going. There's no plan. There's no discrete map of what you want to do. So thank you very much, Mr. Solomon Dan. He says fear. Yes, fear. Yes, he says, yes, he talks about the fear of failure or the fear of success. That's it. You can be afraid in both ways. You can be scared of failure or scared that, okay, what if I succeed and the thing becomes very, very magnificent and I don't know how to manage it? How will I be able to cope? Maybe you want to start a business and you're like, what if this thing becomes big? How will I get people staff to manage it, committed and loyal staff to manage it? That is also one reason why people procrastinate. They put things off because they are scared of failing or scared of success. Also, people could be scared of what people say. They could be scared of maybe action and inactions of other people, or the resistance of other people to their ideas could be, which is also fear. They are afraid of what other people might say. That, okay, what if I pitch this idea and this person is against it? Or if I pitch this idea to my boss and he's against it, so let me put it off till another time. Also, yes, Dr. Ejefu says liturgy. Yeah, when people are lethargic, they just, let's just leave it. Let's just relax. There's this laid back feeling now. Well, life is just whatever will be, will be. Whatever will be, will be. Let's just go as the flow, as life throws us the punches. We also throw our punches back. So, but we need to be strategic and we need to be projective, even in what we do, concerned to be able to combat that habit of procrastination. Any other one? Thank you very, very much for your engagement. Thank you so much, Mr. Dan, Dr. Ejepu, and Mr. Nicholas. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Do you have any other one that you want to share? Okay. All right, without wasting much time, let me go to my slide. And I hope you can still see my slide. Yeah, like I said, there are reasons for procrastination. We mentioned interest, funding. People feel they have no time or they have more time. So that is also crucial. People feel they have no money or knowledge or contacts. Yes, people feel that I don't know anybody, so let me put off this idea till another time. Or maybe I don't know, have knowledge about this thing, so let me throw the idea in the closet, or let me throw it in my box. So let me throw it in one place that I can just let it be cooling off somewhere else. So reasons why people procrastinate is because they feel that they have no time, no money, no knowledge or contacts. Also abstract goals. Maybe they have a goal that they want to like make maybe $100 billion by tomorrow. So of course it's possible. Yes, it's very, very possible. But in planning, you also need to like plan that, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to put in place to do that? Do I have an account? Do I have an account that can take this amount, or does my bank allow me to even be able to make this transaction? There are a lot of things you need to put in place to do that. So abstract goals is another reason why people procrastinate. Thank you, thank you, thank you for those that are joining. Thank you, Mrs. Ashaolu. Thank you for joining. Thank you also, Olabisi Bamidele, for joining. I'm not sure you have joined yet, but yes, thank you very much, Olabisi Bamidele, for joining. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We're talking about procrastination. We have defined it. We have looked at the definition, and we are talking about the reasons why people procrastinate. And I'm trying to make this as engaging and as interactive as we can. We've had people tell us reasons why people procrastinate from their observation and from their discussions with people and from their interactions with people. So we are trying to talk about reasons why people procrastinate. And the point I'm at now is abstract goals, that people take goals that are abstract, and once they are abstract, you strive to achieve it. And once you cannot achieve it, you just throw it away and say, till another day, I'll do it another day. I'll do it maybe tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes, and then you say, I'll do it tomorrow. Then tomorrow comes again, and it's an unending circle of tomorrows. So one other reason I know is fear, like we mentioned, somebody mentioned earlier, fear of failure, fear of comments, fear of actions and reactions. So if you are just joining us and you know of reasons why people procrastinate other than the ones we've mentioned here, you can kindly mention them in the chat, or you can just quickly unmute yourself and say something. Yes, it's interactive. It's interactive and engaging. So you can feel free to unmute and just say something. Why people, reasons for procrastinating. Why people procrastinate. Why people put off till tomorrow what they can do today. Maybe you have a book that you need to write. You have a business that you need to start. Maybe you have a program that you need to air. Maybe you have something that you need to feel people will benefit from if you put it out there, and you are scared of putting it out or postponing it. So what are the reasons for postponing your ideas? What are the reasons for leaving till tomorrow, or leaving till next year, or leaving till the next 10 years, what you could have done today? So do we have any? Okay, if there's no other one, I'll move on so that we'll have time for other things. Yes. So this, sorry, I hope you can still see my screen. I hope you can all see my screen. Can you see my screen? Yeah. So I'm talking about examples of how people procrastinate. Um, I'm giving out the trick. I wanted us to mention various examples, but here are the basic examples why people procrastinate. Uh, how they procrastinate, examples of how they procrastinate. We say, okay, I'll study later. Maybe they have an exams and they say, okay, I'll study later for the exams. Or maybe they want to go for a training and they say, okay, I'll go for that training later. Or maybe in nurturing the relationships they have, maybe husband and wife, someone who is in a relationship about to get married, or maybe the relationship between a parent and a child, or maybe even relationship in the office between you and people in your office. Maybe you are postponing it on how to get better in relating with people in your office. You're saying, don't worry, it will get better by and by on its own. And you're not doing something about it and saying, well, if they like me, they will talk to me. Or if they like me, they will come up to me. Or if they do this, they will do that. So we are putting off nurturing our relationships till later. People who are close to us, our family, friends, loved ones. Also, putting off applying for that contract, that promotion, that scholarship later. That is another example of things that people procrastinate on. They say, I'll apply for that contract later, I'll apply for that promotion later, I'll apply for that thing later. Whereas that later sometimes never comes. Or when it comes, it's maybe late. Maybe the contract has been awarded to someone else, or maybe the promotion has already been filled, or the the deadline is over. So there's the need for us to make hay while the sun shines. And another reason or way by which people procrastinate is maybe even in as little as cleaning up their closet or cleaning up their space or cleaning up their room. So you say later, I'll clean up that place later, I'll do this later, I'll do that later. So it is crucial that we do not put later what we can do now. Another way by which people procrastinate is in their financial goals. They say, okay, I'll start saving next month, I'll start saving next year. The money at hand now is not even enough. So why should I save now? I'll save when the money increases, or I'll save when the account is balanced. Right now, the account is not balanced. So we put off great goals till another time. Also, generally, our great ideas, we put off great ideas till later. There are times when I've had ideas that I just feel that maybe this thing is not for now. Let me just keep it. And then maybe like a week later, I just see somebody else doing it. And I'm like, oh, and I thought about this. So that is also one danger of procrastinating. When you fail to do what you're supposed to do at that particular point in time, the currency of that idea has a limited time. Somebody else takes it over, and your idea is no longer a new idea. It's already existing. Somebody has already implemented it. So it's only if you are now going to refine that idea or build on that idea, that's when maybe something else can be different. But at that point, that idea is no longer your idea. It's somebody else's idea who has run or who is running with the idea. So that's the various example of how people procrastinate. So do we also have ways by which people have procrastinated, activities that people have procrastinated on? You can type it in the chat. Let me know what activities people have procrastinated, or people you know. It might not necessarily be you, because I know we are very, very time conscious people, are very excellent people. We don't procrastinate, Abby. Okay. Even if we do, well, it's not chronic. So let's talk about ways we have either procrastinated, or we know people, ways by which they have procrastinated or put off till tomorrow what they can do today. Yes, no, I'm not seeing any of our charts. Type in something. Okay. Okay, I'm not seeing anything yet. Okay. All right, someone just typed in something. All right. Yeah. Olabisi says, I usually procrastinate on when I'm going to film. Yes, 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 yes. Dr. Jobu says, I have plans to write a book. Yeah. And I've been putting it off. Yes, yes. Procrastination is always with us. So we cannot afford to, almost virtually everybody. I was discussing with my wife and she was like, almost virtually everybody has procrastinated in doing one thing or the other, either before now or even now or maybe later. It might be something very trivial. It might be like maybe you were supposed to wash your car and then you said, I'll do it later until the car becomes uh, an eyesore or everywhere is dirty. You are just managing to just drive, enter inside and just drive away. So anything you put off till tomorrow that is necessary, that it's done now, is procrastination. Once you just put off anything you ought to do now till another time, that is procrastination. Especially when it's something that is important, when it's something that is crucial for your growth and development, it becomes crucial. Yes, Olabisi says, or even to do something that I have deadlines for. Funny how the deadline is so close and I still procrastinate. Yes, sometimes we procrastinate on things that you have deadlines for. They say, okay, submit this assignment on the 21st of August. And you're like, okay, there's time. Or submit this proposal on the 30th of August. And then you say, well, there's time. Today is just 15, so I have 15 more days. So I can start maybe on the 20th. That will be maybe 10 days more. Then you find out that life happens, things come up, things creep up, something encroaches into your program, something encroaches into your calendar, and then before you know it, it's 29th. And you're like, what? Tomorrow is the deadline. You're like running up and down, trying to look for shortcuts, somebody that can bail you out, that can do a rush work or something someone that can just download the information so that you just upload it. So that is also one thing about procrastination, procrastinating on things that even you have short deadlines for. Doctor says, I'm procrastinating to make a note for tomorrow's lectures. Please don't. I'll quickly release you so that you go and do that. All right. So we cannot procrastinate on important things that are necessary for our growth, that are necessary for our development, that are necessary for our, that can enhance our growth and development, because a lot of people are depending on us, whether we like it or not. Either we have family people, we have friends, we have relatives, we have people who their blessings are more or less like tied to us. And so we cannot afford to put off great things or ideas that we have that can like upgrade our status or uplift us in terms of our knowledge. And then we fail to do it because we want to put it off till tomorrow. It is very, very, very important that we do not put off till tomorrow what we are supposed to do today. I want to leave that. We have spent enough time on these examples. I want to now start going into ways by which we can guard against procrastination, ways by which we can either eliminate it or reduce it. So I want to put a disclaimer that procrastination actually, for someone who is a chronic procrastinator, is not something you can just end overnight like that and say, I'll just hope that tomorrow I'll just wake up in a new world and then I won't be postponing till tomorrow again what I need to do today. I'll just be doing everything at the nick of time. No, it doesn't happen like that. Like every habit, it has to be built over time. It has to be built over time. Every habit has to be built over time. I think statistics says it takes you, I think, about 30 days or so of what you do consistently to be able to form a habit. So we need to do something consistently for any habit to be formed, whether it's the habit of reading, the habit of studying, the habit of anything that you want to do. So it must be something we do each day consistently, and then we build that habit. It's just like even our names. Our names was being called every day. You are this, you are this. Your name is this. Your name is that. Your name is that. And then over time, it becomes part of you, such that when people say, "Are you sure you are this?" You'll be like, how can you say, in fact, are you insulting me or what? You almost pick a quarrel because over time, that's what people have been calling you. So it has become part of you. So that's the way habits are formed too. You must continue to like do it every day, every day. So I'm going to talk about things that we can do to stem the tide of procrastination in our day-to-day activities, concerning our dreams, concerning our goals, concerning our objectives, concerning things we plan to do, even the remaining few days of this year and even the years ahead. So things we need to do to ensure that procrastination is kicked out. Procrastination is reduced to the barest minimum, or if possible, eliminated. So that's what we want to talk about now. So, and I want us to at least talk and discuss about this. I will appreciate if you can lend in your voice also when I'm talking about this. If you have any other solutions to procrastination that you've heard about, read about, spoken to someone about, just type it in the chat or mute yourself and just say something. Let us not be shy. We can all contribute. So that is that, overcoming procrastination. So we'll be talking about ways by which we can overcome procrastination. This is the cross of this meeting. All the other things we've stated are quite obvious. We all know the problem, but now the solution is the critical thing. What do we need to do to ensure that procrastination is kicked in the butt or kicked out of our daily lives or reduced to the barest minimum in all that we do? I would like to start on that. Yes, overcoming procrastination. Number one thing is have goals. Have goals. You must have goals. You must have well written down goals in black and white or in any measure. You must have well written down goals. Of course, you will say, but I know this now. I know this, but it's easy for us to wish things away because we have them in our brain. Sometimes I've also been like that. I felt that, okay, I know what I want to do now. It's in my head. I know I want to do this. I want to go there. I want to do this. I want to buy this. Then I'll go there and then I'll do that. So, but if it's not written down, there's a tendency for you to miss out on one of them. And at the end of the day, you'll be like, why did I forget this? It's because you didn't write them down. So you now start putting it off and say, I forgot. Okay, I'll do it tomorrow. And then it's still in your brain. And then tomorrow again, you put it off because you've forgotten. Then so the best way, one of the ways to overcome procrastination is to have goals. And it must be SMART goals. I'm sure you've heard about SMART goals. Does anybody know the meaning of SMART goals? S-M-A-R-T. It's an acronym, actually. So S stands for something, M stands for something, A stands for something, R stands for something. So if you know what SMART means, S-M-A-R-T, kindly, what does S stand for? What does M stand for? What does A stands for? What does R stands for? What does T stands for? SMART goals. Anybody? I'm sure we know it. We've heard about it before. Specific, yes. Thank you very much, Olabisi. Your goals must be specific. You must say, okay, this is what I want to do. Measurable. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Professor Olabisi Bamidele. Thank you very much. Yeah. Any other one? I'd continue. You are firing on all cylinders, Olabisi. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So what is A? Achievable. Yes, achievable. Your goal must be achievable. You must be able to achieve it. You can't just like build a castle in the air and say, I want to build castle in the air. That is not an achievable goal. Of course, it is possible because these days, science, there's a lot that has been going on in research and you can do something that will defy gravity. But of course, you must also plan on how you want to achieve it. So you will not just come up with one idea that you know that even if you start running for the next 1,000 years, you might not be able to achieve it. And then what about R? R. By the way, measurable means it's time bound. Okay. Labisi says, my professor is stuck. Professor, you cannot be stuck now. Professor Labisi, I know you come up with it. So R. Who wants to tell us R? So Labisi has told us specific, measurable, achievable. So who wants to tell us about our goals? Realistic, yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Nicholas. Thank you. Your goals must be realistic. You can't just say, I want to do, maybe I want to like cook like 1,000 dishes in the next 30 minutes. So you'll be like, how do you cook 1,000 dishes in 30 minutes? I did not go, except if they are like raw food that you're going to be mixing. So even at that, you still need time to mix them together, to get the materials ready and then mix them together. So your goals must be realistic. It mustn't be something that is vague or something that is just high and lofty, and then you can't achieve it. Realistic. So who wants to give us the last shot for T? So what is T? What is T? Your goals must be what? T, anchor within the time frame. Yes, anchored within the time frame. So, for example, you'll be wondering, okay, what is measurable? What is anchored within the time frame? The M that is measurable means you can like measure it. So if you are succeeding, you know that, okay, I'm succeeding at this thing. Okay, for example, you want to like move 200 boxes from point A to point B. So, and then you know that moving 200 boxes will take you maybe like 1 hour to move. And then after like 20 minutes, you have moved maybe like 50. So that way you can measure that. Somebody needs to be muted. Please mute so that we can concentrate. All right. Thank you. All right. So measurable, I'm trying to give us the difference between measurable and time bound. And for time bound means it must have a time frame. For example, you say, okay, I want to do a diploma in the next 1 year, or I want to do a computer appreciation course in the next in the next 6 months, or I want to learn this software in the next 5 months, or I want to write a book in the next 2 years, or in the next 1 year. So it must have a time frame. You can't just say, I want to write a book, and then you just leave it open-ended like that. So you must have a time frame. You must give yourself a time frame so that once you overstep that time, you know that this thing needs to be looked into. This thing needs to be addressed. So then you can evaluate. So your time frame now is like a map. So it's like a plan. For example, you want to build a house, and then you have the perimeter plan that says, okay, this is where your land goes to, so that when you overstep that plan or overstep your boundary, the next person will say, please, you have overstepped your boundary, you are encroaching into my land. So that's the way our goals must be. We must have a time frame so that once we are exceeding that time, we know that I've exceeded my time, or I need to do something. Either I need to expedite effort, or I need to refine my method, the method I'm using, or I need to like seek help on how to achieve this faster. So that is one important way by which we can overcome procrastination, having goals. And these goals must be written down, mind you. Let's endeavor to write it down. You have a goal, write it down. Find somewhere to write it down. That is not like a scrap paper or something that you know that, okay, you will keep. It might be a diary. It might be on your phone if you have a very good app that can record your activities. One of the apps I use most of the time is Evernote. So you can just type in there what you want to do. You just type the goals, have SMART goals, and write them down. There's this saying that I think the bluntest of lead is sharper than the brightest of brain, or so, or brightest of mind. Meaning, what you write down will at least stand the test of time sometimes compared to what you have crammed in your head. Yes, I know we can learn a lot of things. There are geniuses that know a lot of things, but of course, they don't know everything. that's it. At the end of the day, they don't know everything. It's just like saying that somebody knows, I don't know if it's possible, someone knows this thing we use for mathematics back then. I think it's called, well, the popular name we call it is 4-figure table. So I don't know if there's in Nigeria, we use that for logarithmic equations, and we use that. So imagine saying somebody knows all that. Okay, when he goes to the exam and he's looking for tan, or maybe tan 8.336, he can just go and look, and just bring it out from his head. That's, of course, is not possible. So that's why it's written down. So anything that we write down has a tendency of being achieved compared to something we just put in our head. There's a tendency for us to forget. So that is a crucial one. That's why I spent a lot of time to talk about it. We must write down our goals. No matter how difficult it is, no matter how simple it is, you can write it down. Even if it means I want to clean the house tomorrow, I want to do that tomorrow, I want to do this next week, I want to, as simple as it, I want to cook something for someone tomorrow, I want to do, so write it down, no matter how simple it is or complex it is, write down your goals and let it be specific, measurable, let it be achievable, let it be realistic, and let it be anchored within a time frame. So that is number one. The second thing I would like us to consider when we are thinking about overcoming procrastination is to project forward. Project forward. It looks similar to the first one, but in this case, this is about our daily activities. It's about what we do from day to day. Smart goals would be like long term. Maybe I want to write a book in the next 1 year. I want to travel to out of the country in the next 2 years, or I want to go for this program or that program next year. Thank you very much for connecting. For those of you that are just coming in, I can see someone is just connecting. All right, I'll give you time to connect. Yes, we're talking about overcoming procrastination. We're talking about overcoming procrastination. And the first thing I talked about is you must have a clear goal. You must have a written down goal that is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and anchored within a time frame. That is within, there's a time boundary for it, so that you would know when you have either overstepped your time or you're still within the time frame you have set for it. And then the second thing I am talking about, which I'm still talking about, is we must project forward. Each day, we must project forward. Each day, we must put pen to paper or put hand to iPad or iPhone or Android or whatever, and write down what you want to do the following day. Maybe before you go to bed, make sure you make it an habit to write down what you want to do the following day. That way, you'll be able to gauge if you've done it or not, or if you have left out anything or not. So it's always very, very, very good. I know we all have the habit of holding our phones these days, but the question now is, what are we using it for? Are we using it for something that is benefiting us, or it's just distracting us? So are we just doing Instagram Live, looking at people's pictures? But we can also use it positively to project forward. Use your phone, record what you want to do the following day, maybe at night before you sleep. Tomorrow, I'll be going to this person to discuss about this. I'll be going to that person to say this. I'll be going to this person to do that. And then you write them out and itemize them one after the other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That way, when tomorrow comes, you just look at them and you carry them out. And if there's anyone, for one reason or the other, that you couldn't, you now transfer it to the following day and say, okay, maybe there was someone you're supposed to see and the person is not around. And they say, sorry, the person has traveled out of the country, he won't be coming back until next week. So definitely, that is going to shift out of your itinerary. So you just put it till that time when the person comes back, so that you can see the person. So overcoming procrastination requires that we project forward. Apart from writing smart goals, which might be long-term or short-term, no matter, we must also project forward each day. Incorporate that habit of writing down. I know that sometimes we might come up with this excuse that I'm not the kind of person that likes writing. So nobody, yes, the bluntest of pen is better than the sharpest memory. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's the word. The bluntest of pen is sharper than even the best memory, because you will have it there. Even if you use coal to write it anyhow, no matter how wobbly it is, as long as it's on the record, somebody can see it and run with it. I can remember that Bible passage that said, make the vision plain, write it so that he will read, will run with it. I just paraphrased it. So it's like once you have something written down, it makes you alert, it makes you in check so that you can achieve that which you've written down. So thank you very much, Mr. Harry Akinola. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You're welcome on board. You'll be talking about procrastination and the ways by which we can overcome procrastination. I've talked about SMART goals, writing down our goals, and we must be smart. And then now I'm talking about projecting forward. The third one I'm going to talk about is concentrating on the high priority goals. Concentrating on high priority goals. And this comes after we've written down our goals, and then we now put them in order of priorities. We put them in the order of priorities. You start with the ones that they are crucial, that in fact, if you don't do them, they have grievous consequences. If you don't do them, they have grievous consequences. Then you move on to the ones that, okay, well, if you do them, the consequence might not be so grievous, but it's also necessary that you do them. Then you go on to the one that, well, is not grievous. It doesn't have any consequence. So such ones are the ones that you can delegate. So you can delegate and say, okay, I'll let somebody else do it for me. And then you have the one that it has no, it's not even falling in any of them. It's just there. It's just an activity that is just flowing. But people are doing it and they feel that, okay, you should come and do it. So all those ones, you can just delete them out of your agenda. So that is what I mean by concentrating on high priority goals. After you've written down those SMART goals, you can now begin to put a priority list or priority number to them. Maybe all the ones that have high priority, you put 1 in front of them. And the ones that have the next order of priority, you put 2 in front of them. And then the next one again, you put 3. So that way you know that, okay, this one is high priority. For example, like a student who is taking like maybe 14 courses and needs to read, and he knows that maybe 4 of them have been proving very tough. So he's going to put that on a high priority and put the other ones that are not too tough, maybe on the next scale of the order of the priorities. Maybe we'll just put that as number 2 and put those 4 on the high priority list so that he can concentrate on those high priority ones, the ones that are giving him a lot of tough time. And that also applies to even people who are in business. Things that you want to do that are very, very crucial to your business, that you know that, okay, if I don't do this thing, business will crumble. Those are the things you put on high priority goals on your list and put them on the high priority list and allocate that value to them. You could write A. Maybe A means high priority goals. B means, okay, the next order of priority. C means the ones that are not grievous, they don't have grievous consequences, and they are not really that important. And then E means maybe the ones that I can eliminate. They don't serve anything. If I don't do them, it won't affect anybody. It does not affect anything. So that one, those ones are more of quote unquote, we can just describe them as distractions. The ones you name E. So once you itemize them and then you put this priority, put them on this priority order, you'll be able to know the ones to concentrate on and the ones not to concentrate on. That way, you won't be postponing an important thing for a less important thing. So it's crucial for us to concentrate on high priority goals to overcome procrastination. So as a recap, now I've mentioned 3 things. The first thing is we must set SMART goals and write them down. The second thing is we must project forward, that is plan our day ahead of time. And the third one now is concentrate on high priority goals, that is set our goals in order of priorities and we must go for them. Set them in order of priorities and go for the high priority goals first, then the next one in the order of priority, and then the next one, and then the one we need to eliminate, we just eliminate them. Yeah. According to Pablo Picasso, he said, only put off until tomorrow what you are willing to die having left undone. Only put off till tomorrow what you are willing to die having left undone. That means I want to give us opportunity to even talk about this quote. What does it mean to you? What does it mean? As in, how do you see this? How do you, what impression does this put on your mind? What impression does this quote, only put off until tomorrow what you are willing to die having left undone? What does it mean to you? Because sometimes perspective could be very, very crucial. We can always learn from each other's perspective. So let me know what you feel about this quote. Only put off until tomorrow what you are willing to die having left undone. Only put off till tomorrow what you are willing to die having left undone. Yes, you can write in the chat. You can type it in the chat so that, and if you want to unmute, you can just unmute. Okay, doctor says I am an immortal. Okay, can you explain further, Dr. Judejepu? Okay, that means that thing is not really important. Olabisi, yes, thank you. That means that thing is not really important. Anybody else? What does this quote mean to you? Or what impression does it
All right, let me make.
All right.
All right.
Go ahead.
Good evening. Oh, okay. It's evening here in Nigeria, where
Yes.
I'm calling from. It's some few minutes to 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And why I said that I'm an immortal, like we all have this habit of procrastinating, you know.
Yes.
And if we say that we want to leave a lot of things undone, there are so many things that we want to achieve, the goals, the plans, the lofty dreams and all that we want to achieve. So it's really like this quote is just like, how do I put it now? I'm just trying to like a figure of speech that we all know that we're going to die. So why then do we still go ahead to procrastinate? so it's like, I mean, it's this habit that we need to kill. Like we need to stop just doing that. So this procrastination has made me to, I'm talking from a personal experience here now. Yeah. Like the book I told you about, this is the 17th year that I've been procrastinating. So you can imagine that. 17 years right now.
Wow.
And
wow.
Doctor,
you have to make this happen. You have to make this happen, whatever it may cost.
So that's why I said I'm an immortal, because I think I have the next 1 million years to still do it.
Yes. Thank you very much,
okay,
Doctor.
so that's my contribution. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that contribution. That is very, very true. Yeah. Sometimes we think we are immortals, that, okay, we'll be here forever. So let us put it off till tomorrow. But then he's saying that if we put off anything till tomorrow, we should just classify that we want to leave it undone. We should just bear in mind that, okay, we don't mind if it is left undone. Once you just say, okay, I'll do it tomorrow, okay, just resolve in your mind that, okay, I won't mind if this thing doesn't get done. So anything that you want to get done, then you have to, like, in the nick of time, hit the ground running. Thank you very, very much. Does anybody have any other thing to share about this quote before we move on to the next one? I'm mindful of our time so that I can give us time. We're supposed to use just exactly 1 hour, but people are just joining. Some people are just joining now. So we'll still give them time to ask questions. But does anybody have anything to say about this quote? Any contribution, any observation, any impression that this quote has on your mind that you want to share? Okay. Yes. Olabisi says that means the thing is not really important. Yes. So let's move on to the next one. So that's my final points. I'm sure we can all, if you have any other points or ways by which we can overcome procrastination, you can state that in the chat, or maybe after this you can unmute and tell us what your own take is of how you can overcome procrastination. So let's talk about, give us your own idea about how you probably have overcome procrastination, or you know someone has overcome it, or you've been able to help someone overcome procrastination. So we'll be glad to hear your view. But I want to talk about accountability. That is also one crucial thing that we must, habit we must imbibe if we want to overcome procrastination. Of course, we might overcome it without being accountable. If we use the other methods and we are fine with them and it's helping us, no problem. But if we have used all the other methods and it's not happening, then we must be accountable. Think of someone that you can be accountable to. It could be for those that are married, it could be your spouse. For those, it could be your parents, it could be your brother, your sister, your friend, someone that at least you know in your space that is reliable and that is trustworthy and that you can at least relate with, and he can keep you, or he or she can keep you accountable and say, okay, this is what I want to do. So that once that person is on your neck and say, have you done this? Have you done this? You know, let me go and do it. So that even if it's just to silence that person, then you would have achieved your goal. At least, even if at the end of the day, you say, okay, I've done it, means, okay, you've achieved your goal, even if the motive for doing it was because you don't want that person to pester you anymore. So at least the good thing is you have done it. So that is what we want to achieve, that you, all right, 2 people raised their hands. Okay, I'll give you time to say something very soon. So concerning accountability, I think it's, let me see, who's that? That's, okay. All right. My brother Harry, thank you very much, you and Mr. Ayeni Nicholas. So I'll give you room now to speak. Yes, we're talking about accountability. We must set up accountability structures to know that, okay, we have overstepped our boundaries, we've not achieved our goals. So this makes us accountable, and that way we can be like reverted back to our plan. So for example, I want to like do a computer program or learn a computer software in the next 6 months. And then I tell someone that, okay, please, I want to learn how to use maybe Excel, or I want to know how to use maybe this in the next 6 months. So, and I'm registered, I'm going to register this, or I'm going to do this online, and this is the time frame. Remember what I said again, the goal must be smart, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and within a time frame. So once you have satisfied that, you now tell the person, okay, I've registered, and this is the way I want to go about it. So if I don't finish it in 6 months, the person should keep me accountable. Or also you can say, okay, every month, at least ask me how far I've gone about it. How far have you gone with this in this month? How far? So that if you are taking too much time, he will say, you are wasting time. Or you have to hurry up and learn this thing. Or if you are moving at a very fast rate, you'll say, okay, I'll slow down. You're not learning it. You're just moving at a fast rate. You're not learning it as well as you ought to learn. So accountability is important for anyone that wants to overcome procrastination. So I'll give room to Mr. Ari Akinola now to speak, and Mr. Ayeni Nicholas. So Mr. Ari, the floor is yours. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thanks, my brother. I mean, first of all, this is a great session. I told myself I was going to join, and I'm happy I'm able to join. The question you asked earlier is if anyone has anything to say about how to overcome procrastination.
Yes.
And I mean, I know you're going to mention a lot of points, but one point that came to mind is, first of all, unraveling why people procrastinate.
Yes.
And when we understand the underlying reason why people procrastinate, which is different for different people, really.
Yes.
When you understand why you procrastinate, then it is easy to start overcoming that. I mean, there are few reasons. One of them is perfectionism. You know, people trying to ensure that things are perfect before they do it, or they have a perfect condition before they do it.
That's
Sometimes
true.
it's fear of failure. They don't want to fail at it, so they keep pushing it till tomorrow. Fear of criticism is another one.
Yes.
I don't want people to say this bad thing about it.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is low self-esteem, depression. Some people just struggle to focus.
That's
and
true.
Sometimes it is just a habit that is formed,
Mm-hmm.
And then where I'm coming from is to overcome such procrastination, then the individual needs to start with understanding, why do I, Harry, procrastinate? And then by so doing, if they deal with the underlying issue, they are able to, overcome procrastination, at least in that sense. Just my 2 cents to add. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yes, what he's saying now is that so that we don't start using the same drug for different ailments, we have to know what actually is the cause of the procrastination. So once you know the cause, then you can now know, okay, I need to be accountable, or no, maybe I don't have goals, I need to set goals, or maybe I need to even go deeper than that and maybe seek for, in terms of accountability, seek specific counseling. That, okay, let me go for specific professional counseling in this life because I'm always depressed. I don't know why. And because I'm depressed, I'm putting off or whatever it is till another day. So it's important that we know why we procrastinate. Once we know that, that is actually the foundation of everything. Once we know that, thank you very, very much, my brother. Thank you so much, Mr. Harry Akinola. Thank you so much for that wonderful point. It's very, very important that we know why we are procrastinating. Then we can be able to provide solutions to them. Because if we don't know the reason why, then we won't be able to provide a solution to the reason why we procrastinate. So, Mr. Yeni Nicholas, are you still on the line? Mr. Nicholas? Mr. Nicholas, are you still on the line? I think you raised up your hand. Okay, let me see. Maybe you wrote something down. Okay. Well, Mr. Nicholas doesn't have anything. Does any other person have anything to say about ways they know people have overcome procrastination? Okay, like I said, I won't take our time. So at this point, I want us to ask questions. If we have questions, we can throw in our questions and then we can answer them. Do you have questions? What do you feel is making you procrastinate? Or what you can do practically to overcome procrastination? Or maybe there's something you're presently working on now that you're just putting off and putting off and putting off for one reason or the other. Maybe it's money, maybe it's time, maybe you don't have enough knowledge about it, so you're putting it off, or you don't have enough contacts and you're putting it off. So what is that question that you have? If you have questions, now it's time to send in the question. You can send it in the chat and you can just unmute yourself and just go ahead and just speak straight away.
Hello, please, can I speak some to my Dan Solomon from Nigeria?
Continue, Mr. Solomon Dan.
All right. Sorry, I've been a little bit up and down. I'm on my way on transit now, rushing back home. But I want to just drop this quickly. We need to tell ourselves the truth at some point. Maybe, trying to overcome the challenge of fear of failure. Maybe sometimes we just need to tell ourselves the truth that sometimes there are some failures that are a key to success. Is it this president Abraham Lincoln that I learned that? Is it Abraham Lincoln that he failed the election a couple of times before he now later won to be a route or a path to success or a part of a success story? Yeah. People will no longer be scared of taking that giant stride and giant decision to move ahead. That, okay, even if I fail, at least I will learn from that failure and learn to do it another way. So that's my own little contribution, that it's not all the time we have to be successful. It's not all the time you come out success or you come out brilliant with a particular project you want to embark on. Sometimes you may fail, but you learn from it and kick on. That's my only two contribution. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate you for this forum, as in more of this should be coming. Let's when we have brighter mind in the house, like Dr. and Mr. the other man that spoke earlier too, we share knowledge and we get better. Once again, thank you so much. Regards to family, sir.
Thank you,
Bye.
thank you very much, Mr. Solomon Dan. Yeah, thank you. So if you have contributions or questions, this is, well, let's take that within the next 3 minutes and then we can close, because I don't want to take our time. The budget was one hour. That was the time frame, like 1 hour, like, okay, 30 minutes will be done with everything that has to do with reasons why we procrastinate and all that. And then the remaining, like 25 minutes, we'll talk about, okay, we have 3 participants that raised their hands. Okay, those that raised their hands, I'm actually not seeing them, but can you just unmute So if there's a clash, I'll know the two people and say, okay, I'm not seeing them. But okay, yes, Mrs. Uloko, thank you very much for joining. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's my lovely sister. Thank you so much for joining. Do you have anything to say? Because I can see your hands raised.
Thinking before she can.
Okay, it's actually Prof. Prof, it's so good to hear your voice.
Thanks so much. Great job. It's a and topic that very much.
The link is breaking, sir.
Okay, you hear me?
Yeah, it's just like fading in and out.
Okay. You know upon this part of it, but just congratulate you in a great job.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, sir.
Encourage of this. I should want to pray. This is the beginning of a series similar lecture.
Yes,
this is of life we achieved in life. So it's quite common. I like the last two speakers, but speaker about the root procrastination and if you identify exactly.
Yeah, I've lost Prof. Yes, Prof, maybe you can type it in the chat section because the what's it called, your voice was fluctuating, it was just going off and on. Okay, someone says, all I need is funds and contact. It will take away procrastination to some extent. Also, we cannot totally take away procrastination from our life. Yes, that's why I say that procrastination is like saying maybe you won't eat, or maybe there comes a point in your life when you overcome eating. So it's continuous. You have to like keep eating. Even if you fast, you eventually have to break. So that's the way it is. Procrastination sometimes is we're just talking about how to reduce it so that it doesn't hamper our laudable and great goals, things that will improve our lives, things that will make us better people, like things that will improve us. So that's what we are talking about. If, for example, you postpone maybe going to watch a football match, the world will not come to an end. You can watch the replay. So that one is not a crucial thing. But postponing something that is very important to you, like somebody saying, I have an exam, or I'm not going, I'm going to postpone it. That is very crucial because you don't go, you're marked absent, you fail the course. And that has its implications. So that's what we are saying. We're talking about the crucial goals that you have, the laudable goals that you have, things that are important, like you want to start a business, you want to write a book, you want to start doing a program on air, you want to start maybe a non-governmental organization, you want to like fend for those people who are homeless, you want to do great things, you want to do some great, you have great ideas that you want to implement, but you are putting it off till tomorrow, you're putting it off to next year, next month. And at the end of the day, you don't do them. So it's important that we have, yes, it's a good thing, like you said, is to have an opportunity cost. That's what I'm talking about. You have a priority list, and then you, based on your priority list, you know what to do and what not to do. So without wasting much time, I want to ask if anyone has any other question or contribution to make before we close. If we don't, thank you very much. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you, Miss. Thank you so much, Mrs. Uloko and Professor Uloko. Thank you so much for the comments. Congratulations, well done. Thank you. Yes, we have two people that raised their hand. Yes, Mr. Harry Akinola, thank you. Unmute yourself and speak, please. Yes, Miss Olabisi, thank you very much too. Thank you for coming. I think, Mr. Harry, you want to say something? Oh, thank you so much. My lovely wife. Thank you so much.
Now we're just clapping.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So if there's no other questions, I would like us to leave our reviews. Kindly leave your reviews in the chat. Let me know what we've done well, what we've not done well. Just leave your comments. Maybe you want to say something about the old procrastination thing that you were not able to say. Just put it in the chat so that we can review them. I can review them later, and then maybe in subsequent programs we can address them. So it's important that we leave our views, leave our reviews, evaluations in the chat, or maybe you can leave them online. Maybe most of you must have seen my posts. You can leave them online for me so that I can use them subsequent programs. Thank you very much. I know we all have a busy week, we have a busy day, and we need to go rest and spend time with family. So I won't want to bore us any further. I want to say thank you to everyone that came. Thank you so much, Dr. Ejepu. Thank you, Mrs. Miranda Basagi. Thank you, Mrs. Uloko. Thank you, Mr. Harry Akinola. Thank you, Mr. Ayeni Nicholas. Thank you, Miss Olabisi Bamidele. I wanted to call you Professor Olabisi Bamidele. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much. This wouldn't have been successful without you. I would just probably be talking to myself if I was the only one. Thank you very much for coming. I look forward to having you in my next live stream. Watch out on my social media. I'll be putting up the next thing we'll be discussing very soon, so that we'll have time to discuss and rub minds and learn one or two things. Thank you so much for those wonderful contributions. So at this point, I'd like to say thank you very much, and please kindly leave your reviews for me here or on my social media page. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Olabisi, for saying, yeah, it was a great presentation. Thank you also. Thank you. I'd like to say at this point, good night, everyone. Have a wonderful week, and God bless.